Hello, I'm ABX Toycat, and welcome back to episode 2 of my TU31 Let's Play. This is a brand new Let's Play I've started in the new update. We're going to be playing through Minecraft, having some fun with all of the new features, and also every single episode to kind of make the Let's Play a bit interesting and to maybe teach you something, but in the good way. Every episode I'm going to be talking about something new, and this episode I'm going to be talking about game design, and in particular Skinner boxes. So if you have any idea what that is, then maybe you'll be excited. But either way, I'd very much appreciate a like on the video if you do like it, because it helps out the channel a lot, and let's maybe like this Let's Play and the very bizarre format that I don't think has been done elsewhere on YouTube. But yeah, let's get straight into it, shall we? So we're still working on making the house into something bigger. You might have seen it there. We've got like the core concept of a house, right? Like this is like a, if a house was destroyed half by a bomb, you can see how there's a core idea of a house. It keeps me safe at night, kind of, but it has a lot of big flaws. First of all, it doesn't actually keep mobs out. It has two big holes here, including the big one there. So it's not really that great as a house. Second of all, I can't sleep here. And third of all, the second floor is just open to the elements, which means spiders can get in there. So today I'm going to be making the house into a home. I'm going to be hopefully finishing it up, and we're going to be, able to move on to other stuff, because this first house is the key thing you do in Minecraft. You need to have somewhere to go back to at all times, and this is going to be that for me. So we're going to make this room look lovely. We're going to make this room look hopefully lovely and maybe patch the hole up in the ground, and then we're going to make the upstairs be my bedroom. So to do that we need to get some wool, which I think we just did actually. Okay, we need one more wool, and we also need to get some coal because we need to get food, because our hunger's been going down pretty fast through this episode. So yeah, while we do that stuff, because we got to kill a bunch of sheep, some pigs, etc., let's talk about the Skinner box thing, because this is something I came across while I was studying game design, like a long time ago, as in not studying like at school, but like I always wanted to be a game designer. Like when I first picked up a video game, I realized I love this a lot, and I was like, the best job would be making that. And although, having realized more about the industry now, I realize that's definitely not the case. If you don't know work, because the, games designer is like a dream job, it kind of, you kind of get ruined by a lot of places. So if that is your dream job, I'd say be an indie game developer, because then you can make your own rules. Whereas if you work at EA, they'll try and pay you as, or, insert studio here. I'm not saying EA are bad, but if you work at a big studio, they need to pay you as little possible so they can make the biggest profit margins and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's not the cool part of this. The cool part is the Skinner box itself. So the Skinner box isn't actually called a Skinner box. It's the correct name for it is an operand conditioning box, but it's known by psychologists and game theorists or game, like, whatever you want to call it, as the Skinner box, because the guy who named it is called Skinner, and, his last name was Skinner, and I like to picture the Skinner from The Simpsons, and I think that's what most people do, and I can only imagine that's why the name caught on so much. So, yeah, anyway, so I'm not just going to tell you the name of the box, the naming history is interesting and stuff, but the cool thing about this box is, to me, it's kind of like a how the sausage is made situation. If you don't know sausage is made, I'm not going to tell you about how sausage is made, but they're made in a very horrific set of circumstances. And most people, they learn about it, and they're like, I don't want to eat sausages anymore. But for me, it's like, sausages are too tasty to just not eat for that reason. And maybe that's the wrong attitude to have, maybe it's the right attitude, I don't even know. But this is kind of like that for me, because this can kind of unravel a lot of, your favorite game experiences. But interestingly enough, Minecraft doesn't use any of these principles, and yet it's still very successful, or at least it doesn't directly use them, which is interesting to me. So, yeah, let's talk about what the Skinner box is, because I've just been, referring to it in abject. Basically, the Skinner box was an attempt by the scientist called Skinner to basically have a psychology thing where you can influence the decision-making of an animal or an object, instead of just before where, like Pavlov's dog, you can influence the... You can't actually influence the behavior of Pavlov's dog. Like, he'll salivate whenever you ring the bell because he's get used to it, but you can't make him, choose to salivate. He's just doing it, unwillingly. Whereas the Skinner box is, the first time in psychology where we can actively... Also, is this how I make stairs? It apparently is. It's the first time in psychology where they actually worked out a way to actively change the thought pattern of something. And the basic idea was, at first, was they put a pigeon inside a box. And I love the idea of putting a pigeon in a box. But yeah, they put a pigeon in a box, and they put a button in the box. That's all there is in the box. There's no way out the box. It's just a pigeon and a button, or a rat and a button. I picture the pigeon anyway. But they put an animal in there, and they're like, okay, then there's just a soul button you can press. What are you going to do? And obviously, given that there's nothing else to do, they eventually press the button. And every time they press the button, it gives them food. So, pigeon or rat food or whatever it is. I mean, in the human's case, it could give you a chocolate bar. But whatever you want it to be, it gives you food. And this means that you're encouraged to press the button at first. Because you're like, wait, when I press the button, I get food. So you start pressing the button more and more. Also, we need to put some coal in there. I was trying to work out why it stops melting. But yeah, so you start pressing the button more and more and more. And we're going to need to get some windows, so let's go get some glass, I guess, or some sand for some glass. So, you know, you press the button more and more and more and more, until eventually you get to the point where you realize, I'm just full up. I don't need, you know, I don't need food anymore. Like, let's imagine it gives you a chocolate bar each time. After 10 chocolate bars, you're not going to keep wanting chocolate bars if you lock the box. You're still going to worry about other things. So, yeah, they realize that it's a cool, you know, it works at first, but it stops working later. And by adding a lot of conditions to this is where it gets really interesting. They actually managed to make the pigeon really love clicking the button without even thinking too much about the food. So stuff like, again, I just picture a pigeon because it's funnier than a rat. So they give the animal food, but not every time it presses the button, randomly when it presses the button. So every, like, 3rd time to every 10th time when it presses the button, it'll get some food. And, you know, you'd figure getting food less often, you know, every, like, 3rd time instead of every whatever time it'd be before, would actually be way worse for the pigeon. But it's, the animal. But it's actually way, way better. Because, you know, to them, it's like, I'm not going to get every time, but they need to keep on pressing it till they get the food, and that means, you know, they press it over and over and over again, and it means you can get them to press the button more. If they get it every single time, you know, they get full up after 10 attempts, but if they're getting food every 10th time, you can get them to press it 100 times. And plus, they start to really like the button, because it becomes this excitement draw of, ooh, I might get the food this time. And obviously that's more of a human thing, but it's still something that you can kind of see in the animals. So, yeah, that's the core idea behind this. Also, if you wonder what I just did there, it's a pro tip for modern design, where if you want to have a windowsill, make it with half stairs, because if you look, it kind of protrudes out and it looks kind of cool. So, if we have the wall going up from that, I think it'll look pretty nice, but that's the theory so far. So let's take all of this, turn it into dark oak. And let's work on some walls here, shall we? So this is going to be another window, because there needs to... This is the windowsill on the window, so there's going to be a wall here. And then maybe another window, like halfway down this room, actually. So actually, yeah, we'll work on that. But, yeah, this will just be 3 blocks high, and just an open window, just so you can look out, you can see your stuff. And then we'll work on the roof, because the roof is going to be a whole mess for Sting. So this is the exact halfway point in the house, right? Make sure we get that right. Because if you have it, like, slightly different on each floor, yes, we need to make it so it's a block before that, which we can actually do from down here, I think. Anyway, to go back to the point of the box... So, yeah, this box, even though it seems, you know, you see, it doesn't seem like you get too excited about pressing the button, it actually really does work. They're like, I want to press the button, and if you reinforce it with a little bit of negative behavior too, so if, you know, they get food every, like, 3rd to 10th time they press the button, but also if they don't press the button for a certain amount of time, they get electric shocked, and you can apply even more stuff to this, and again, this is where it gets really game designy, right? Because if what you do is you have a certain green light, and they can only press the button during the light, whenever the light turns on, they get really pumped to press the button. They're like, I need to press it. And basically, this is the core concept behind gambling machines at the time. And, you know, that's how they research why it's good. Because gambling, to any, you know, if you look at it from a same perspective, also we need a white flower, so let's go run out and get one. So I want to make some white stained glass. If you look at gambling from a sane perspective, you are just giving away money. Because, you know, if you put... You know, let's just say you put £10 on, or $10 on black, then your expected result is, you know, like you can get £20, $20, or you can get 0, but you're slightly more likely to get 0 because there's the, there's the green number on the wheel, which means that your expected result is like £9.90 return. Like if you average out the number of times you get £20 versus the number of times you get 0, your expected value for that result is actually... Yeah, it's like I said, I forgot the number, like £9.90 or £9.80 or something, which means you're essentially just paying 10p for nothing. You're just giving away 10p each time, but yet people get addicted to gambling, right? It's a fact, I'm pretty sure. Also, did I make a bed? I feel like did I already place it down? I must have. So, yeah, that's how the genius behind the whole thing works, because... Also, this is a lot of white dye, isn't it? Oh, it's light grey. We'll use light grey, whatever. I wanted to use white, but actually, bone meal will just work as white. Let's give it a try. So yeah, this is the core concept. Even though, you know, it should be really broken, it actually does kind of work. Oh, this is white stained glass. So then we take this, and we want to turn this into stained glass panes, which I believe is like that. Yeah, look at me learning a thing. And then we're going to use these stained glass panes everywhere, because they look a little bit fancier. So we place them there, for instance. Look how fancy that window looks. If we make this one entirely out of glass panes, look how fancy it is. And yeah, this is a pro. Okay, so I'm also trying to teach you pro tips for modern building, because I learned how to abuse them and make something that looks kind of ridiculous, but also works, you know, in some vague abstract sense. And I think this is a good example of that, because even though you know, I'm just changing the colors of white glass, it really blends with, you know, the wood quite well. Again, I don't know why. I think maybe a professional graphics designer came into Minecraft and learned this stuff. But if we go to sleep and then go outside, you'll see that the white glass actually kind of mixes quite well. I think light grey would have probably done just as good. Maybe I should have gone with light grey, but I think white, it looks whiter than regular glass, which means it looks purer than regular glass. And I don't know, there's something kind of nice about this, right? Like you're seeing the house come together. At least I'm seeing it in my mind. Because now all we need to do really is the roof and stuff. So we're actually, I was going to say we're almost out of dark oak, but we're not. And let's keep working on this, and let's talk about how the skin box kind of evolved and how it turns into games. Because you might be like, okay, Toy Cat, so there's a box that's giving you food, right? Everyone likes the food, but at some point, it always, the thing always becomes uninterested, because obviously, there's only so much food you ever need. Even if you make it so there's specific light times and stuff, eventually they'll just be so satiated that even when the light turns on, they won't want to eat the food. But there are some things in life, there's a specific psychological term where it's like, there are some things in life you can't get too much of. Like, you can have too much food, you can have too much water. Like, water's nice when you don't have much, but after a certain point, you're like, yeah, I've got water, you don't need to give me some. That you can have too much of most things in life, right? But there are some things, this is a specific to human thing, where you can't you can't have too much. Like, you can't have too much money, for instance. Or you can, but most people don't think you can have too much money. Like, you can have $1 million in your bank account, and you'd be like, if someone offers you $10 for free on the street, you'd be like, maybe I'll take it. At least I'd be the sort of person like that. Maybe, I think a lot of people probably wouldn't actually, but for me at the very least, I'd probably be like, it's $10 free. Like, assuming they'd just be like, yeah, I've got too much money right now, I need to get rid of it. And then I'd be like, okay then, yeah. And then maybe I'd give it to someone else. But either way, like, I think if I was a millionaire, I'd still take that, and I think maybe a lot of people would. And yeah, basically, that's because humans don't, one of the, one of the interesting things about that whole thing is that humans don't think they can have too much money. Despite maybe I don't know if it actually is true if you can have too much money or not. I think you can have an amount of money where it's irrelevant to have more, but most people don't realize that. Because the reason like billionaires like Bill Gates keep going, or Bill Gates is a bad example, but the reason the big investors like the Mexican one whose name I'm forgetting, I think the reason they keep going is kind of to keep score, right? Like, if you're the richest man in the world, it's not because you had 70 billion and you're like, oh, kind of cut tight. Can only buy a 22-bedroom yacht. I love it. I pronounce it that way because it really annoys people. So if you're annoyed, then you're falling into my trap. But yeah, if I can only have a 22-bedroom yacht, better go back into the work and do some more hours at the office. Now that's not why people like Carlos Slim and is he called Carlos Slim? Carlos whatever. I think I'm referencing a fake character. That's the reason they work more. And basically, people don't think they can have too much money. Usually speaking, because it's just like an unlimited one, right? And this is usable by Skinner boxes to a extreme degree, because if there's not too much of something, then they can convince you to press the button infinitely. So this is one of those circumstances, kind of like the reverse of the Pavlov spell, where instead of it working better on animals and kind of working on humans, it kind of works on animals to a certain point, but it really, oh my god. Okay, at least we only blow up a few blocks there. And we also got a free sheep kill, so I guess it's for the best. But yeah, as well as back to the, I entirely lost it because of that. The other interesting thing is that it works better on humans because we have unlimited wants. We want an unlimited amount of money, unlike a lot of animals, which is very, very interesting. So I want to patch this up later, but for now, we've got that. Isn't the house really coming together? Do you see it yet? Like, this is almost looking like a real modern house. So now, like I said, we've made something kind of look good looking. I think we might want to put a window in there if we can get some more stained glass, which actually we can do. And then, yeah, after this, I guess we got enough for quite a bit more stained glass. Is it better to stain... Oh, yeah, I was going to say, like, is it better to stain the glass before or after you turn it to panes? But I think you have to stain the glass before you make panes. So, let's do that now quickly. Oh, that's light grey. So I think this might have looked better. Maybe I should make one of my rooms out of this, but since... Just because there'll be someone that's like, this hurts, okay, I won't. So, anyway, yeah, so humans have unlimited wants, right? Or certain unlimited wants. And this is really, really abusable video games. And the reason World of Warcraft is so successful is because it was probably the first game to really drive this one, really, really drive this point. So World of Warcraft and any level-based game, the leveling system is such a genius thing for a game because it means the game itself doesn't necessarily have to be fun. It has to be fun enough to lure you into doing it a few times. But think of like the way leveling works in RuneScape, where each level gets progressively harder than the last. I think that kind of works in Minecraft to some extent. But think about leveling systems in games and how cool it is when you level up and there's fireworks and they're like da 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 da. I think that was a Pokemon battle, but again, the leveling up in Pokemon is still a good point, though. Yeah, look at me segueing by accident into a good point. We need to chop down some more dark oak trees. But, it's really, really cool when you level up, right? And that's because it turns into this unlimited want thing of, like, you can always have a higher level Pokemon, and you know that if you press the button, in this case, the button is doing Pokemon fights, you'll get there faster. And this is how so many games lure you in, and World of Warcraft is the smartest one that's ever done this, and if you ever read up anything on this, they'll always reference World of Warcraft, because if you think about World of Warcraft, or any MMORPG, like a game which has RPG elements like that, where you level up and stuff, but you do it with friends, because at first, you're addicted to leveling, and it's so fun, you're beating the quests, and you're getting story at the same time, and it's kind of addicting you in that way, but then, as the game goes on, you make friends in the game, and I think it's the raiding system that's really clever in World of Warcraft, because if you don't know, when you get to the end of the game, you max your level. I'm pretty sure I haven't actually played to that point in the game, so because it takes a very long time, but what happens is you have to go do raids, and these raids get you the very best stuff in the game, and basically the reason that people are so addicted is because when you're addicted, you start doing these raids, people, you join a raiding guild, and then when other people slowly start to fade, and they're like, why am I playing World of Warcraft all day? You don't want to be the one guy that doesn't show up to your raid, for instance. You don't want to be, the guy that lets down your team, and you have friendships built into this game, and it's kind of like, imagine if we replaced World of Warcraft in this instance with, like, some crazy drug, that would be insane, but that's basically what they've done. They turned video games into what some kind of like a drug, basically. That's why the game was so successful, and that's why Skinner boxes, if you ever do design games, are something you should avoid unless you really need to, because in cases like if you think about Clash of Clans, if you think about all these games, you will ruin people. If you're okay with ruining people's lives to make some money, that's cool. But the Skinner box thing will ruin people's life. The number of people who have like lost their wives over World of Warcraft, or the number of people who have done this or this over a game is pretty crazy when you think of it by itself. So, the core point here is Skinner boxes are everywhere. If you ever play a mobile game, you'll notice how they have the, the bar in there. It'll be like, oh, you're going to have to fill up your energy bar before you can come here again. You might think that's an attempt to annoy you into paying to get rid of it, and that is some part of the puzzle, I have no doubt. But the clever thing about it is it's the same thing as the rat in the cage with the, or the pigeon in the cage, as we're going to keep on saying, it's the same concept as the pigeon in the cave, where there's a light that turns on, and then you can press the button. You get this in-game reward, which gives you this satisfaction, because humans love, ticking. We love feeling like we've completed something, basically the game, it gives you that feeling like you've just accomplished something, and it only lets you do it when the light is green, or when the energy bar fills up, which means you're always coming back, so you're like, oh, the light's just turned on, need to go do that, and that's how games addict you, in good ways in bad ways instead of good, which, I don't think we should get rid of them, because I love Skinner box elements. I'm almost kind of saying them like they're evil, but they are really, really cool. I love games that can use them in correct ways. And, a lot of my favorite games use this. Like RuneScape, I have, several 99 skills, and I can say it's all just the game addicting me, but, maybe I like being addicting to the game. I made some friends in the game. Everyone's played some RuneScape, right? And they're like, yeah, RuneScape. And as a result of that, I think that Skinner boxes are something that are really dangerous. I just think the pro tip here is, if you're ever playing video games, make sure you know when you see one, and make sure that you don't get too tied into the reward system. Otherwise, bad things will happen. Bad things will happen. Which sounds like a vague threat from me, but it's not a threat from me. It's a cautionary tale to watch out for. So that's that right there. So anyway, as you can see, my house has slowly been turning into a home as we've been talking about that whole thing. And I have been quite liking this. I want to do something quite wacky for the roof, like have just a mash. I want to do something with bright orange wood, because of how really these two wood types don't blend together. Look at my staircase; it's just so vibrant. So since we're trying to add a little bit of twist to this just boring modern design, let's go do this again. So let's make a axe. I think we have some stone on us. If we don't, we only have 2 cobblestone, I think. So let's just go mine a single piece of cobblestone, which we'll find in the ground somewhere around here. We'll just go into the cave. We'll pick up 4 bits of cobblestone to make a stone axe and a stone pickaxe. Really, we should start going for iron soon. I think that might be a next thing, but like I said, the house is our key place to come back to and to go back to every episode. So that's what I want to go to and make this stuff happen. And because I really want to explore first, actually. Although iron's important, a part of me wants to explore before I get iron. Maybe I'll do both at the same time, because a lot of people think the only way to look for iron is underground. But the truth is, because there's so many caves you can find, it might be better rather than digging and doing your own thing. I think it's at least more fun to look for it. I can't guarantee it's better. But at the very least, I can guarantee it is more fun to look for it in the less traditional way of just going around looking for caves above the surface. So I think we'll do that. Also, we didn't actually make the things we wanted to. We just put stuff in the furnace. I always get confused as to what exact thing I'm trying to do, and that's the game tricking you like that. It's like, you want to do this? No, don't want to do that at all. So I'm going to chop down an acacia tree using this. And then we're going to have to make another set of sticks and do some stuff there. So just make all the sticks. Then we need to make ourselves a stone axe. I've been, pickaxe. I've been really getting used to the PC crafting. I quite like doing it on console because I feel like, you know, it means I have more transferable skills for PC. Because I do like to play PC from time to time. And every now and then the crafting just gets me. So I think it's handy to do on console. Even though I know the recipes, there'll always be something like, what are the leggings? Or is that the chest plate? Because, you know, when you're under pressure in a PvP situation, when you're playing Skywars, you need to do that stuff. So, yeah, I think I kind of finished my point of psychology here. The Skinner box is used by a lot of games. The reason this is a fun fact. The reason that, you know, the Call of Duty 4 was so successful, you can argue it was all the modern setting, and I think that's got to be some of it, but the online system was the first one that truly engaged people on this massive level where they want to get some prestigious, because you're always going for that. Every single game, if you did well, if you had fun, or if you didn't have fun, you feel like you had fun at the end because of the leveling system. Obviously, the leveling system is in pretty much every FPS now, but that was the first, like, multiplayer, like, kind of matchmaking-based game, I believe, that did it. And that's one of the reasons it's so successful. So, yeah, it really, if you look at any successful game, you can probably tie it into using this some amount, because if the game is fun anyway, or, you know, fun to some amount of players anyway, and then they add this on, you know, just on top of that, it's going to make the game a lot more fun for certain group of people, if you think about it. So, that's kind of handy right there. So, we're going to try and see now if we can make, I want to make this little overhang on the roof go all the way around, but I think that's going to be kind of tricky. Oh, yeah, we make that happen sometimes. So, we need to curve this one round. Should we just make a little staircase thing around here? So we place a block there, and then we place a block in the corner. Will it curve round? It probably curved round. I don't think it curved round. But then if we do that, then we can actually just do this. This might be for the best. I'm not sure I want to have like a windowsill going around all the house. Maybe I could remove this later. Either way, I'm not sure. So let's just patch up this. I think I want to have a little window in the middle, like that size, and then I want to have a few other windows around here. But for now, I have a house that is mostly a home. Actually, we need to light it up a little bit more. I was going to say, you know, we're all kind of done here. So let's get 2 more torches. Oh, also, okay, this is a fun little fact. So if you watched last episode, and I assume you have if you're on episode 2, but if you didn't, I spoke a lot about passwords, how they're stored and stuff, and as it turns out, during that time, I don't know if I should say this, but I was a victim of not being careful enough with different passwords. Well, you've got to always make sure that you use a different password on any site that you go on. And if you don't do that, if one of those sites does one of the terrible things I mentioned last time, then you can have access to lots of different sites. And yeah, as it turns out, Toycat made the mistake and had to go through and change everything. So yeah, that pro tip for life, I guess. Will save you from something. I mentioned it in the video, but I didn't immediately do it. And I think it's almost a beautiful karma that I speak about it and tell people to do it, and then hadn't actually probably done it yet. Because I have lots of different passwords, but not enough, apparently. And yeah, then that happens. So I think, I don't think I have enough blocks to finish the roof. So this isn't technically a home yet. But it's all but a home, right? Like, you can see where the beautiful, beautiful home is going to be here. You can almost feel it, right? At least I can feel it. Like, I can feel it in my soul. I can feel it in my bones. And let's just add something ridiculous on the top, because I said I would. So let's, what we're doing is we're going to place a torch right there next to the bed, just to keep that lit. We'll place a torch just up there too. But then I want to put something ridiculous made out of acacia wood on the roof. So I think it'll just be something like a tree, maybe. Yeah, I want to have it. Okay, what we'll do is we'll have a piece of dirt here. We'll make it right into the center of the ceiling. So is this the center? Oh, it's so tricky to see. Okay, so we need to go down there. Okay, so it's this block right here. I don't know how to keep track of that. But yeah, I want to have an acacia tree growing from the very center of this. So it's that. Wait, is it that or that? Okay, wait, it's probably the one on the right. So we just go to the right over here. I think we got that right, and then we place it there. That's probably just about the center of the house. And if we place an acacia sapling on this, we can have this amazingly modern house, and then there'll just be a tree growing up there. And there's something beautiful about that to me. So yeah, this is going to be our house for now. Let's just surround it so we don't have to go into the what's going to be a tree. This is going to be my house. I think it suits the savanna biome quite well. You can see how we need to rough out the edges, which I can clearly do between parts. But you can also see what's going to be a beautiful house. This is going to be my main room, where it's going to have my first chest, it's going to have my furnace, my chest, etc. This is going to be my bookshelf room. Maybe I'll put an enchantment table in there. I think that makes sense, to be honest. And maybe an anvil. And then up there will be my bedroom. It's going to be a very basic house, just to kind of get the job done. Also, maybe I'll store chests in here too. It's just going to get the job done, and until I need something else. Because I want to have a basic house, and I want to have a house that takes me 50 parts. This is what my house looks like. As you can see, it looks like it's a quote-unquote modern house. If I go from this angle, it'll look a little bit better. Oh, jeez. Or if we fall down a hole. It's going to be a modern house, but it's going to have a giant acacia tree growing from the top. I think there's something beautiful about that, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. I hope you did all enjoy episode 2 of the TU31 Let's Play. If you have any idea of what we should call this like land, because the other world's called the Updated Adventures world, and TU31 land just doesn't sound right to me. But if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments down below. And also let me know if you have any like particular things you want me to talk about next week, because every now and then I'll be really inspired by that. Because I really like a lot of different things from all over the place, like game design, psychology, a little bit of science, in the case, and computer science in particular. I'd love to know your comments. And also, like if you did like it, share if you really liked it, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll see you all in the next Let's Play, which is presumably going to be next Monday. So, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.